Hi, everybody. I am Joel. I am going to be recording my podcast experience and my journey so you can grow with me, so you can identify mistakes, that you can watch me make mistakes and grow, and so I can get over my fear of being in front of a camera. So at the moment, I am recording a podcast for FADI-Life. And I am a motivational speaker and life coach for a company called Fostering a Dynamic Impact. I am geared for helping as many people as possible. The company's mission is we are the change management company, and we teach people how to embrace and manage the change agents that come into our lives that are designed to create chaos and disrupt the norm, whether that's our thought process or from an organizational standpoint, um, dealing with everyday change and becoming an organization that can embrace and foster change when needed and can actually use change as a competitive advantage. So that's a little bit about Fatty. A little bit about me. As I said, I'm a motivational speaker and life coach. I'm also a cancer survivor, and I am a jokester. I like to talk shit. I like to make jokes, but I also do a lot of stuff that's really serious. And I have a life that is purpose driven. So the vision for the company is to have the greatest impact possible on the largest platform possible, which is why I'm in YouTube, which is why I'm working with a podcast, which is why the company was founded, because the lessons learned through cancer and my son's transplant and being in gangs and violence and just being a dick to becoming the guy that I am now, and the things that I've learned through those experiences with the ability that I had to communicate and deliver a message, um, created a drive for me to want to communicate to as many people as possible. So today's podcast is going to be about a few things. One is going to be about expectations, um, and it's going to be about impact. The company's name is Fostering a Dynamic Impact. So, of course, we're always going to be talking about things that foster a dynamic impact. The idea would be that you become that agent, right? That you are what's fostering a dynamic impact, that you are FADI, like our company acronym, right? Fostering a dynamic impact. We want people to FADI. We want people to have an impact. We want to have an impact. And I'm going to talk to you about some experiences that I had this week with the Make a Wish Foundation, where I'm a wish trainer, and how those experiences have impacted me. They are experiences and lessons of gratitude, and we'll get into detail on how they help shape my life, and hopefully they'll help shape yours. We're going to talk about the seminar. There's a Change Mastery luncheon on January 19th, 11 o'clock in the morning till 2. It will be a day that you won't forget. You come into the seminar, I'm buying you lunch, and I'm going to teach you ways to learn about and embrace the change in your life. We're going to teach you how to reframe your thought process so you can walk out of the seminar and the luncheon and be able to change your mind's approach to how you deal with things. Going to talk to you a little bit about being at a Michael Jordan party. um, and I'm hopeful. Well, it's not really, I don't have to be hopeful. For as real as it gets, YouTube's going to catch it all live. I have a fear of being in, not necessarily in front of the camera, but I have some issues putting the camera in my face, wondering, damn, should I deliver this message? And I should deliver this message. So the YouTube and the live approach to the raw aspect of this is helping me and hopefully having an impact on you. You can always reach out to us if you have any questions, if there's something that you think I might be able to help you with. If your organization can use some motivation, if your organization is dealing with change, if you're dealing with personal and professional health, financial change, reach out to me, see how we can help. If I can't help you, then I'm not going to try to rob you. I'm not here to just make money on you. Of course, I got to eat, but I'm here. If I can't help you or I can't help change your life, then I'm happy to just chat for a minute and not try to, sell you. So you can find us at dynamicimpact.co. You can obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel. I am hopeful that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm hopeful that you subscribe to our podcast in Apple or Google or Spotify. We're all over the place. And I am hopeful for you to be more grateful by the end of this podcast. And let's start it. So let's talk about, let's see what first, kind of roll the dice. Let's do expectations first. We'll save the Make-A-Wish experience for later in the podcast and how that impacted me. And first I want to talk about expectations, because expectations seem to have a place in my life all throughout the week. And I'm not talking about expectations in terms of how they, that you expect someone to go ahead and do something for you, or you expect someone to be in a place where, they owe me this. I'm talking about expectation on a level where, like the angry thank you in a podcast previous, where somebody doesn't say thank you for holding the door for them and you're pissed off. It's just, you're holding the door because you're a nice person. You being pissed off that they're not saying thank you means that your expectations are all fucked up. And if you can manage this approach to your expectations, it changes everything. And for instance, inside of a relationship, right? On a basic level, you approach your other side, your other half, and you're like, listen, tell them a story about something, and they don't react the way you expect them to. It upsets you a little bit. Why don't they value that? Your mind's eye, your inner child gets sensitive about that. Them not meeting your expectation about how they should react, about how they should behave, about what they should be interested in. Let's say it's not your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. Let's say it's your boss. Let's say it's a coworker. You know what I mean? Like your expectations of what other people should be doing influence how you feel. So if you can manage your expectations, then you can manage how you feel. And if you can manage how you feel, then you can find yourself in a more present moment-minded world. And if you're present moment-minded, then you're likely focused on things that are around you right now. And if you're doing that, you're not worried about what else is in the future or what happened before. So anxiety and fear start to dissipate. You see, just by managing your expectations, you get to find yourself a little bit of peace, which is ultimately the goal, right? Is that you could have that peace in your head. We do heavy cardio, we do heavy training, we do things that we enjoy because they typically give us a sense of peace. That inner child in our head we put to sleep. Some people have the ability to control that inner child. They're like, shut the fuck up. And that inner child goes to sleep. That's a mastery. And it's not something that comes right away. So expectations I can get on a tangent here. Expectations can be a sort of a motivation, right? They can be motivational tools for you because you expect the best out of yourself. Talking about being present moment minded, if I expect to be present moment minded every day and I'm not, that disappointment serves a purpose because it motivates me to become more present moment minded and try to calm the noise down in my head in a way that I reach my goal. When you put those expectations on other people, you find yourself in a place where you lose control of the noise that's in your head. If you lose control of the noise in your head, then your moods throughout the day become influenced by other people. Let's take being on the road. I live in South Florida, and people in South Florida have a special way of driving. We are a highly diverse community, and because we're a highly diverse community, we have all kinds of drivers, and drivers can make you frustrated. I almost got run off the road today by a guy who looked at me after he did it, as if he was saying hi to me. Literally almost ran me off 80 miles an hour. Just, hey, oh, sorry. As I try to manage my expectations, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I could, this guy's making me mad. You right? But as to take a tangent, as you learn about what the company does in my mission, I don't believe that there are any accidents. And I don't believe that God made a mistake somewhere or stubbed his toe today and that person almost ran me off the road. I believe that that stuff happens for a reason. And that for whatever reason, that guy was running off into my lane. Okay. Getting pissed off doesn't help. Wanting to run the guy over, get in front of his car and slam on my brakes doesn't help. It might make me feel better about what he did, but if we're trying to be the best person possible, retaliation's not really the path there, right? Like if you're living in a world where you're trying to be the best you possible, slamming on the brakes in front of a guy doesn't do anyone any good and can get you arrested. It makes you a bit of an asshole. Because by slamming on the brakes, you're not teaching the guy that just cut you off any lessons. Right? Like you don't slam on the brakes in front of somebody and they're like, oh man, thank you for slamming on the brakes. I will make sure that I never, ever, ever again not pay attention, or I'm too tired, or I get terrible news and I swerve over in another lane. No. And I didn't get upset today. I just kept driving. I thought the guy was a bit of a dick. But it's not like I've never been in that situation where I've swerved by accident. And, you know, as I'm thinking about it, everything happens for a reason. So I was in a pretty good place. I had a really good day. It's been a really great week, and I'm not trying to let some fucking guy who cut me off ruin that. Why am I'm not giving him that power? Take my afternoon. So I continue to drive home. And thousands of micro choices, turn here, turn there, slow down, this asshole slowing me down. And I'm on my way home. I'm hoping to catch my wife before she goes about her day. She's a firefighter. I haven't seen her in a minute. And I missed the shit out of her. So I'm hoping to get home, maybe get a hug, say bye, babe, and start about our day. And I finally get into our neighborhood. And as I get into the neighborhood, I turn into it. And there she is. And we literally cross paths. I get to stop in car next to each other and say hello. not the big deal. It's not like, oh, fanfare. But think about all of the stuff that had to happen to get us next to each other, right? At that particular moment. It can't be accidental. All of those decisions, all of those other people that influenced those decisions. There's a purpose. And if there's a purpose, and humans are learning beings, right? Growth is about learning. You're going to learn no matter what. The easy way or the hard way. Those lessons are here to teach us. Those lessons are here to help us grow. And if they're here to grow, they have a purpose. If they're here to foster growth, they're here for a purpose. If they're here to foster an impact, they're here for a purpose. And if that purpose is to teach, and you're here to learn, and learning helps you grow, then you've got to be grateful. I get a little preachy there because I'm not 100% grateful all the time. I get pissed off and a little upset about shit too. But I try to remember. I try to identify the little things that happen in our lives that are designed to remind you, hey, don't forget, stay grateful. I could have been driving today and on the highway thinking about some dumb shit in my head, that inner child going crazy. And the universe or God was like, I'm going to put a halt on that shit. Because, yeah, the guy shook me up a little bit, but it really wasn't a big deal. And younger Joel would have been pissed. Younger Joel probably would have followed him. Younger Joel would have reacted different. But through lessons of gratitude, and not just gratitude. I mean, I'm not, I'm not an angel. I wasn't always an angel. For a long time in my life, I was a real dick. I suffered through some shit. I fought cancer. While my son was waiting for a liver to survive at 6 months old, my grandmother dies. I've been through some stuff. All that at the same time. It's not a joke. But it's not a pity story. And there's still billions and billions of people begging for my problems. One of the things I remember, let's go back to talking about expectation. One of the things that I remember during my cancer fight was the day I was diagnosed. I came home and did what most people do, and I hit Google. What's up with thyroid cancer? Yeah, that's not a good idea because Google said to me, here, look what we have on thyroid cancer. And sure enough, it looked like I was about to die. And of course, what that did was that turned a huge part of the cancer experience into a huge ball of fucking worry. Changed the whole experience. Being able to stay grateful allows you to manage what you expect from other people. You should have a high standard for yourself. You should expect to be the best you as much as possible. I'm clicking on the microphone. For those of you in the podcast world who can't hear me, for those of you on YouTube, you can see me. I'm learning this process. You understand? I'm trying to, I have a message to deliver. I'm a really good guy looking to help as many people as possible. And, I'm just looking to build this platform. And I'm looking at the YouTube thing, not a young man. And I see a microphone. I'm like, shit, I don't know if it's working. or not, but let's see. I gotta check my battery life. Good here. All right. Take a sip of water. Cancer is a funny thing, right? Because cancer will slap your expectations in check. Change will slap your expectations in check, right? Mike Tyson, everybody likes to quote Tyson. Everybody's got a plan till they're punched in the face. yeah, that's typically a true statement. And if you slap that into life, you have what you plan on for your life, and the punches that life's going to drop on you. Those punches are actually punches of change. I don't know if there's a path set for you. For us, I know that there's a place in our lives, in our world, where we can find ourselves harmonious with our purpose, where we can find ourselves in line with our purpose, where that purpose drives us to be the best person, best people, the best us possible. That's typically where we're our happiest, where we're at our zen. That zen is that's what we're chasing, right? You know, Joe Rogan and David Goggins were talking about in a podcast recently about how blasting through this crazy cardio allows them to get all the suffering out of their brain. You know, our brains are conditioned to be whiny, right? But highly manipulable. Babies are good examples of where we're supposed to be, experiencing emotions and expressing them and not feeling bad about how we express them. Doing things that make us happy or not doing things that make us happy, and not feeling bad about not doing something that should make us happy. And oftentimes, I'll give you an example, right? What am I talking about here? So you're in a relationship with somebody and you do things because you think it makes them happy. Maybe it does make them happy. But you're doing that because of the expectation that it's going to make them happy. And you give them the power, then you give their reaction the power to fuck your day up. Or not. It might really make the day. Or maybe you're in a place where you don't care. You probably wouldn't come see me. If you have that kind of personality where you are just you're not going to come see me. You're not going to come to FADI to find out how you can learn how to live inside your relationship more effectively. You're likely going to need me for whether it's to change things in your health, your finance, or maybe it's not to change them. Maybe change is coming. The goal really is to be able to embrace and identify change as it comes. So when there's a little change agent in your life, you're like, all right, I see. What's that change agent for? Right? There are no accidents. The people that come in your life, the radio stations that come in your life, how many times have you said, damn, that's a coincidence? Come on, man. Fucking coincidence. And you know that the more aligned you are with your purpose, the more those coincidences happen. And the more those coincidences happen, you're just genuinely a happier person. As long as shit's not falling on your head. This isn't a pity story. I'm not here to tell you that what's going on in your life isn't a big deal. Although I can challenge you. And I'm going to tell you a story a little later in the podcast about really what some people are dealing with in their lives that make your ass feel grateful, for real. Certainly shook me. So we've talked a little about expectations and the pros and the cons of them, right? They can be motivating, they can inspire. You expect to succeed. Visualization and expectations are different. You're visualizing and feeling, not putting forth an expectation. You're going to expect things to go right, sure, but that's not where you leave it. There's feedback processes, there's biofeedback, there's practice. Because if you expect somebody to say thank you, if you expect somebody else to be grateful, if you expect somebody else to do something, if you expect somebody else to respond, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And if you set yourself up for disappointment, it obviously, when you're disappointed, you're going to be angry about it. You didn't get what you want. It's a form of suffering, right? Like you're setting yourself up for suffering. And back to the babies communicate, right? And then as the babies get older, we tell them, you can't act like that. You can't do that. Society doesn't expect you to say that. And then we become hormonal. And then we slap what people expect and what our parents say and what these weird feelings we have when we're teenagers. And then it starts to mold us into who we are. Then we become adults, and those moldings start to impact and influence our relationships with people. Our jobs, our coworkers, our bosses, wives, everyone. Girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands. I mean, and when you start to condition the mind and then your inner child, that voice in your head to speak a certain way, then that discussion becomes how your life is guided. When you have a purpose, the organization, plug, fostering a dynamic impact guides people to live a purpose-driven life. Having that purpose helps you align yourself with happiness. Even if your purpose is about saving, let's say I'm moved by the what's happening in Africa and what's happening in Asia with elephants, and I find that oftentimes watching the stories can be sad. My purpose is to help that, but it's still sad. The expectation is that this is going to get better, but in the meantime, they're going to suffer. It's not an easy dynamic to process, right? But I look at the animals and I see the suffering. I feel the suffering. I'm empathetic by nature. And you got to be a real asshole to watch people pick on animals. Excuse me. We'll talk later about how if you can't help, you should. That could be your purpose. But you need a purpose that's going to drive your life now. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, being a wish granter, helps me. There's no doubt that I feel good and I'm grounded when I get to experience the things that happen with the foundation. On the flip side of that, there's the organ donation world, the Life Alliance, the University of Miami, the Life Alliance and Organ Procurement Agency, also known as LAURA. They're responsible for the organ donation world. We'll get into that in another podcast. But not when we're talking about end-of-life choices. And the volunteering is part of my purpose. But my purpose is to have an impact on people. My purpose is to impact as many people as possible. And because of that, I find my Zen. I still have to work, and I have to teach, and I have to, I try to help people with injuries as a neuromuscular therapist. I'm a father and stepdad and husband. And then my own stuff. All working towards managing the stuff inside my head so I can be at peace all the time. So my brain is thinking about a positive purpose, that my brain is in a growth mindset, that mindset is allowing me this focus to do things that enhance only a growth mindset, that allow me to, whether it's a little bit of working out and a little bit of volunteering, but it's things that allow you to be grateful. It's things that allow you to be present moment minded. Little plug, Dan Millman, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. As we talk and as you follow the podcast, this book was influential in changing my life. Back in the day when I was a bit of a dick, I really just had no guidance for the energy that was me. And, you leave a young man to his impulses, who knows where that's going to go. And this book grounded me. So I still use it, and it's not like it's a story about somebody who's experienced a bunch of shit. And that's what this is. It's a story about me experiencing all kinds of stuff. And the expectations that I try to meet throughout my life, and the people whose expectations that I tried to satisfy. I'm doing anything I could to satisfy those expectations, even sacrificing my own happiness. Because I figured, fuck it, if they're happy, I'm happy. That happy wife, happy life thing is real, right? Because if your wife's not happy, if your other side's not happy, your life is just not a good thing. But there has to be a balance, right? You both have to have, you want to have the expectations, you both have to have the expectation that each one of your needs are met. So, January 19th, the Change Mastery Seminar, Change Mastery Luncheon. You should come check this seminar out. It's 3 hours long. You're going to walk away with tools and resources that day that are going to allow you to reframe your decision-making process. I'm going to show you how a bag of sand is going to teach you how to look at the world every day. You leave it by your door, you leave it in your bathroom, you leave it in your car somewhere where you can see it, even if it falls out of your mind's eye. And watch, it'll influence how you look at the world. And as you change how you look at the world, as you become, I'm not talking about like become more grateful. I'm not talking about in a way where you're just grateful for, oh man, I'm so thankful that I'm not starving, that I have water. That's like the micro stuff. I'm so grateful on a macro level, right? Like I'm talking about having a faith that there's a purpose in it all, right? And that there's a sense of gratitude in all of it. I'll use myself as an example today. That asshole who almost ran me off the road today, for whatever reason, there's a purpose, right? God didn't stub his toe, and that person fall asleep at the wheel or whatever. God didn't stub his toe, and I got cancer, and my grandmother passed away in the same medical facility that my son was about to get a liver transplant in, all within the same 8 months. Like God didn't, well, whoops, and tragedy happened all over the world. Like it doesn't work like that. There's some purpose for all that shit. For me, all of that stuff pushed me to where I am now. I'm grateful for that. Finding gratitude in the everyday part of your life means that when things are happening, that they're there for a reason, that those reasons are usually to check you, right? Little change agents, little gratitude bombs that are trickling in your life that are going to help you maybe just change. Maybe your brain is thinking about talking to somebody in a way that is going to be fucked up and spark a fight and fuck up your relationship. So somebody slams on the brakes in front of you. You stop thinking about that, or you stub your toe thinking about something stupid. Maybe you don't. Maybe they stop on the brakes and you slow down for those 2 seconds, and later on at another traffic light, you would have gotten in a car accident. Who knows? Want to hear some amazing shit like that? Read Mitch Albom's book, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. Any motivational speaker will tell you that it's about the ripple effect, right? This is a world of energy. Whether you believe, all religions, beings of light, all light, living is light, living lights, living things. A little excited there. When that light flows fluently through us, we are at our brightest. I try to stay away from cliche stuff like that. But I'm also trying to keep it real. Being our brightest. It's the same thing as trying to shine. And the goal is to shine. We'll be talking about that at the seminar. You can find tickets on Eventbrite. Please subscribe. Follow me. Let's do this journey together. Time for a water break. So, this was an amazing week. As you can see on my Facebook page, I was able to experience a Believe Day at Macy's. They have a National Believe Day where you write letters to Santa. And for every letter that you write to Santa, they donate $1. But on Macy's National Believe Day, they donate $2. A few weeks ago, I was asked if I have any wish kids that like to cook. I do have a wish kid whose wish is to meet Gordon Ramsay, and he likes to cook, obviously. So Macy's, in their generosity, decided to throw this kid a party. And my wish kid, as you can see in the pictures, it's on my Facebook page. It's on Instagram at It's Nagelbush. They had a famous chef, Anthony Lamas, come in. They had media come in and cook with him, teach him how to cook. And then they let him shop. And you're talking about a kid, and you watch the videos. It's our own face. Like he's so sassy and he has so much fun. And you're talking about a kid who has beaten bone cancer, beaten the transplant, beaten treatment, then got a virus, treat the virus, got diabetes because of the steroids he was on so long, in and out of the hospital for treatments, got a bad bag of platelets. All this information is public. There's Channel 7 down here in Miami, did a news piece on him. And this kid smiles every day. It's not that you're supposed to look at this special boy and go, wow, I'm grateful I don't have all that shit. The point is that the stuff that you do have in your life, you're not as down about because you're grateful that those are the things that are in your life to teach you a lesson, that those are the things that are in your life to teach you, help you find your purpose. FADI helps massage you into that. He had a blast, man. You know, I had to give up 3 hours of my day, maybe 50, 60 miles in my car, some gas. And I was able to experience a lifetime event. And I'm grateful to be in their life, right? Like I'm happy that the Make-A-Wish Foundation has allowed me to play the part of JoJo's wish granter. And I'm grateful that the universe has put me in a place where I found my calling and my purpose is to be in that. And the foundation's thanking me, and I'm thanking them, and JoJo's thanking me, and I'm thanking him, and I'm like the middleman for hope. Google Make-A-Wish South Florida. Volunteer. Send them $1. Donate an hour. Donate 2 hours. I was at a Michael Jordan party this week, and on the invite list was J-Lo and A-Rod and Drake and all these people, and supposed to basketball. I mean, like, and I love that. And I'm thankful. And to be part of something that raises money like that to help critically ill kids is, I mean, really, what's better? You're on this journey to grow. You have tools to do that. My feeling is that you should also help when you can. And if you can help, you should. What the fuck, man? You're not going to do something? But parties like that, I don't necessarily walk away feeling so grateful. Sometimes a little inspired, right? Damn, I want to make that money. Damn, I'd love if that could be my fostering a dynamic impact audience. It's the experience with JoJo at Macy's. Make me feel grateful, man. It's real shit. JoJo's Instagram is at Jordan's Lemons. I'm check him out. We're going to be doing a podcast, I think December 13th together. It's going to be fun. I want to talk to you now about a wish that I'm trying to grant for. It's one of the most grounding experiences that I've had in my life, actually, because I'm not really sure how I would handle such a system, not really the right word, how I would handle an atmosphere like this. So oftentimes the foundation will check in with me if there's a really challenging wish. And a challenging wish could mean families that are difficult to get in touch with, families that live in difficult neighborhoods that might not always be the safest for lots of people to drive into, or families that just have difficult parents, don't quite get what we're doing, I get them. And I'm effective there because of the different atmospheres that I've grown up in my life. From gangs and schools that weren't very diverse to public. I'm cool with a lot of people. So when I'm in particular neighborhoods, I can usually acclimate quickly. And granting this particular wish last week was going to require the use of all of those skills. And I get into Miami and I pull off into this neighborhood, and I realized that I'm in a place where it's probably high crime, and you can tell it's just not the right. It's a little hectic over here, and I'm going to meet a wish mom who has an 8-year-old boy who is epileptic and nonverbal. So typically with nonverbal kids, the responsibility then is to communicate with mom or dad, whoever the guardian is, and figure out what they think the kid's one wish would be. And when I get to the building, it had me a little nervous. I walk up the stairs, and as I come up the stairs, there's a door right there, and on that door are signs from floor to about 18 inches from the top. Do not disturb, beware of dog, no trespassing, and then a little sticker on top, Vietnam War vet. And it just had the energy of somebody who's going through something in there. Somebody you don't want to be disturbing, purposely or by accident. I got balloons and a blue shirt on, and I'm at a place. People coming out of their apartments. And I get up to Wish kid's house and Wish mom's apartment, and I walk in and I say hello. And I'm chatty. And I'm also a presence inside the house. And I noticed that the house is kind of beat up. Like, it almost looked like the house was sort of ransacked, right? Like, there were holes in the walls, furniture was damaged, just writing on the walls. And I'm not judging it. I could give a shit really what's going on. This lady's got more things to deal with than I could have. I just really could. Just don't judge. And I say hello to her, and I meet her son, and he's active. I mean, he's jumping around everywhere. And I'm not a psychologist. I don't know about behavioral issues, but the kid was running at 9,000 RPMs, jumping over the couch, jumping over the kitchen table, and he's nonverbal. And the only time that he's not running at 9,000 RPMs is when he's sleeping. And when he's sleeping, he's having seizures. Think about that. Think about this, right? She's telling me the story while he's jumping around, and think about, he was 4 months premature. Think about how fucked her state of grace is, right? Like, there's no peace, no good night's rest, no. Oh, man, it's been a tough week. Because most of us get diseases. Most of us deal with things that have a protocol. With Justin's transplant, there's a protocol, right? If he didn't get a liver, he was going to die. We get the liver, we manage that. Something goes wrong with his labs, we fix that. For the thyroid cancer, hey, you got thyroid cancer, we take out the thyroid. We give you medicine, we monitor your stuff. You take radiation, you go in isolation, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to be fine. But not with seizures. Any moment. So, I'm trying to get to know her, and he's trying to run away and run all over the apartment, and, just trying to, he's running around playing new guy toys. I started talking to mom, and I said, do you know what the Make-A-Wish Foundation does? No, not really. So I started talking to her about it. And typically when that happens, when somebody doesn't totally know what we do, I don't expect them to have any kind of inclination about what their great wish would be. So I know right away I'm going to come back. And I could see that her son was starting to get more anxious the longer I was there. And we kept talking for a minute, and she's smiling the whole way through and trying to become a nurse. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you're fucking amazing, dude. Guarantee you, her expectation about when she had that baby, that she wasn't going to be dealing with what she's been dealing with. A single mom with an epileptic kid. Not that my problems feel any less real for me, but they don't feel as overwhelming. Knowing that she's doing that, and like, I'm certainly not going to complain to her about shit stressing me out. It's a story of gratitude. And they're all around you. The Make-A-Wish, the commercials that come on, the advertisements that pop up, the things you hear on the radio, the people telling you stories. They're there to remind you to stay grateful. Go about not always grateful that, oh, it feels good that I just lost all my money, or, oh, I'm so grateful I got cancer. But if you flip the dynamic of grateful right now with having faith, that you're grateful that there is a greater purpose, that you have faith in something greater, then it all works. January 19th, Eventbrite, Change Mastery Luncheon. Learn tools and resources. Learn tools. Really learn tools. Learn how to use tools and new resources when you walk out of that luncheon was the point. Change Mastery. You're going to walk out with the tools you'll need to master change. How you master it's up to you. This is an art, man. And you're going to master change in different ways. And then right when you get used to it, you're going to have to learn a new way to master change, because there's going to be a new change agent. But you're going to have tools. You're going to be in a better place. It should make you laugh. I feel like I got jokes. The luncheon is designed to empower you. Subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out my website. It's Nagelbush Instagram. Look up Joel Nagelbush on Facebook. Anywhere you want. Reach out. It helps me serve my purpose of helping. I hope you're having a great December so far. I hope you're having a great week. And actually, it's Sunday night. I hope that somehow in your life, you're fostering a dynamic impact. And I hope that somebody's fostering an impact in you. It's the holiday season. This is the time for impact, right? Stay grateful. Yeah.